Welcome to Gawa News. This is Syed Khalid Shabas. When we look around us, what do we see? We are surrounded by buildings, malls, metro rails, parks, multiplexes, roads and whatnot. But we only see the glorious side of it. The development, the economy it boosts, the aesthetics it yields. These are the things that are ordered by the governments and the rich and built by the sweat and blood of the poor, the laborers, the migrant workers. On 8th of May, when 16 laborers were resting after a 36-kilometer long walk, they were run over by a goods train. They were young, between 20 and 30 years old, and they were returning home to Maharashtra by foot when they decided to rest for a while. It is unfortunate that they fell asleep on the rail tracks, but it turns out this was their final destination. 14 of them were instantly killed and the struggle for food ended. Another migrant couple who set out on a 750-kilometer long journey on bicycle with the children were killed in a road accident. The children suffered injuries. In Gurgaon, a 30-year-old migrant worker committed suicide for not being able to feed his family. In Telangana, a 24-year-old migrant worker committed suicide for not being able to go home due to lockdown. So far, around 60 migrant workers have died. These incidents have once again brought to attention the problems faced by migrant laborers in India, especially during the lockdown. When lockdown was announced by the government on 22nd of March, it suddenly brought the lives of these workers, migrant laborers, to a grinding halt. The lockdown not only hit food supply but also cut the survival rate of these poor laborers, which comprise nearly 90% of India's labor force. Now, most of them are non-locals. They travel from state to state and work on a daily wage. And with lockdown in effect and the construction and manual labor jobs industry at a standstill, these laborers who earned hand to mouth had no choice but to starve or be at the mercy of some NGOs or some good people to feed them a meal once a day. The Prime Minister's relief attempt did not make much difference. These laborers took to streets, they defied the lockdown and gathered courage to protest to go back to their homes. With roads and railways closed, jobs taken, rent problems with inhumane owners, and literally no money to survive, they decided to walk back to their hometowns. On foot, they braved long roads with family, including young children and toddlers. Some walked hundreds of kilometers, some walked thousands of kilometers. A migrant worker in Jharkhand walked 400 kilometers and died. His home was another 500 kilometers away. Many of them walked hungry, or with very little food that they had to choose whether to feed themselves or the family. Two men set out on bicycles in Telangana, but only one reached home alive. One died on the way. The story is no different in rest of the India. A migrant laborer from Assam working in Gujarat walked 2,900 kilometers for reaching his hometown in Nagaon district, occasionally hitchhiking when possible. Bleeding boils and feet that turned into the likes of minced meat did not stop them. But what is the problem of these migrant workers? Why are they defying death to go back home? Are they not getting enough to eat or feed their families? Can they not wait for trains, or is accessing trains and getting on board that difficult? Or have they lost faith in the government? India is the largest democracy in the world, but it has one of the largest migrant labor forces. 160 million, some say 180 million migrant workers. Laborers like these earn less than 400 rupees, some 200 rupees a day. Many of these are hired informally and settle for whatever remuneration is paid. Their monthly salary is barely enough to survive. Their employers don't show compassion. If they had food to eat, shelter to survive the lockdown, they wouldn't have taken such great risk. If their employers had been generous to look after them during the lockdown, or the government had done enough to reach them in assistance wherever they were, many of them would still be alive. Ironically, the contributions of these migrant workers is often underestimated and unappreciated. These laborers are important. Even if they are poor, they are still the citizens of India, and they are at the very grassroots of India's development activity. Because of them and no obstruction to work during lockdown, Telangana government was able to complete 4 months of work in just 40 days. Many states were able to carry out construction work at increased speed. New roads were laid in many municipalities, road dividers painted and whitewashed. When the government relaxed norms for construction activity on April 20, the move was seen to immediately kickstart at least 30 to 40% of construction activity. But the rest, 70% approximately, will still be jobless. According to the Government of India Census 2001, Maharashtra stands at the top of the list with 2.3 million net migrants, followed by Delhi at 1.7 million, Gujarat at 0.68 million, and Haryana at 0.67 million, while Uttar Pradesh and Bihar at -2.6 and -1.7 millions are the two states with the largest number of migrants going out of the state. The International Labour Organization believes there are 30 million Indian migrants outside India and 9 million of them in GCC. A few days ago, Assam government deposited rupees 2,000 each under a special scheme to the accounts of 86,000 people. Similar initiatives were taken by different states. Telangana became the first state in the country to run a special train to help migrant workers. Nearly 1,000 of them travelled back to Jharkhand, thus setting an example for the rest of the country. The Government of India, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, announced additional ration to 800 million people, cash to building and construction workers among others, but less than 20% people have building and construction workers card, which is essential to getting this type of fund. This was revealed by a survey comprising 66,000 participants who were in building and construction industry. The Government of India also announced 1.7 lakh crore package or $23 billion, which a large portion of these workers are not likely to get due to different reasons. The train fare controversy is even bigger problem. While Congress leader Sonia Gandhi assured of paying train fare to migrants, when centre stepped in and said 85% fare will be borne by it, with states bearing the rest 15%, far from those numbers, many passengers had to pay as much as 500 rupees for a ticket costing 450, let alone subsidized fares. These workers are going back because they don't have the money, the means to survive. There must be some compassion and common sense in collecting money from them when they are already at the tipping point, many opined. That's why the majority of these migrants will go hungry, they'll go cashless and without hope. They live in agony and pain and sleep with fear of inability to feed their families the next day. They have debts to pay, burden of personal loans they had taken in challenging times, but nothing to ease the pain. No matter what facilities are given to them at this time, this is a period, a nightmarish time they will never forget. And let's hope we won't either when the lockdown ends. When you come across a migrant labor in your locality or area, help them financially, offer them food and clothes without asking anything in return. They deserve that. They too, like us, are no less humans. This is Syed Khalid Shehbaz and you're watching Gawah News.